The landing was silent, a ripple in the twilight that only the neighborhood's animals seemed to notice. Dogs whined behind closed doors. Birds fell silent in their nests, and in a small suburban house, a ginger tabby named Milo lifted his head, his ears twitching. Inside, 7-year-old Lily was drawing colorful monsters in her sketchbook, completely oblivious to the real one that had just arrived on Earth. Milo, however, was not. He'd been with Lily since she was a baby, his self-appointed duty to guard her from all threats, from thunderstorms to the vacuum cleaner. But this was different. This was a wrongness in the air, a scent of ozone and something ancient, something hungry. He padded silently to the glass sliding door that led to the backyard. Outside, the familiar shapes of the oak tree and the swing set were distorted by a shimmering, almost invisible presence. It was tall, impossibly thin, with limbs that bent at unnatural angles. As it moved, the light around it seemed to warp like heat haze on a summer road. Its head, a smooth, obsidian teardrop, swiveled, and 2 glowing red slits fixed on the house, on the warm, bright room where Lily sat humming to herself. Milo's back arched, a low growl vibrating deep in his chest. This creature wasn't just observing. It was hunting. The alien predator, a being known across a dozen star systems as the Whisper, had followed the faint energy signals of nascent intelligence to this quiet blue world. It specialized in collecting specimens, young ones, for the grand menageries of its masters. It saw Lily not as a child, but as a prize. The Whisper could phase through solid matter, a simple trick of molecular displacement. The glass door was no obstacle. It began to slide through, its form becoming translucent, a ghost made of starlight and shadow. Milo didn't hesitate. He launched himself at the door, not at the physical form, but at the shimmering point where the alien's energy was most concentrated. He let out a furious, guttural hiss that sounded more like a wildcat's roar than a housecat's complaint. The Whisper paused, its phasing momentarily disrupted. It had never encountered resistance from a planet's lower life forms before. They usually fled or froze in terror. This small, furry creature was defiant. It registered Milo as a minor annoyance, a biological alarm system, but nothing more. It completed its entry into the living room, solidifying its form. It stood over 8 feet tall, its skin a shifting pattern of black and deep purple. A long, multi-jointed appendage unfurled from its back, tipped with a needle-fine point that glowed with a faint blue light, a paralytic agent. It took a step towards Lily, who had finally looked up from her drawing, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and wonder. "Kitty?" she whispered, thinking it was one of her drawn monsters come to life. But Milo was a blur of orange fur and righteous fury. He didn't run. He didn't hide. He stood his ground directly between the alien and his girl. He hissed again, his claws extended, his tail puffed up to twice its normal size, making him look like a miniature lion. He was David, and this was his Goliath. The Whisper tilted its head, a gesture of cold curiosity. It could simply step over the creature. It raised a spindly leg. That was its mistake. In that instant, Milo sprang. He wasn't aiming for the creature's tough, armored hide. He was aiming for its eyes. With a yowl that echoed with the spirit of all his saber-toothed ancestors, he leaped, claws outstretched, and raked them directly across the alien's glowing red optical sensors. A shriek, silent to human ears but deafening on a psychic level, tore through the room. The Whisper recoiled, its towering form stumbling backward. It hadn't anticipated pain. It hadn't anticipated such ferocious targeted aggression from something so small. Its appendage swung wildly, striking a bookshelf and sending books flying. Lily screamed, now fully understanding this was no friendly monster. She scrambled back, hiding behind the sofa. The alien, momentarily blinded, swiped blindly through the air. Milo, agile and light-footed, danced around its clumsy attacks, a furry phantom of defiance. He dodged a sweeping limb, leaped onto the back of the sofa, and launched himself again, this time biting down hard on one of the alien's slender reed-like arms. His teeth, designed for small prey, couldn't break the alien's tough exoskeleton, but the sheer audacity of the act was staggering. The Whisper thrashed, trying to shake him off, but Milo held on with the tenacity of a bulldog. He was a 10-pound weight of pure, concentrated loyalty. The alien's mission parameters were clear. Acquire the specimen with minimal disruption and no damage to itself. This was maximum disruption. Its advanced senses were screaming with error messages. Its optical sensors were damaged, and a primitive life form was currently attached to its arm. The cost-benefit analysis of this collection had just gone deep into the red. With a final frustrated psychic hiss, the whisper dematerialized its arm, causing Milo to tumble to the carpet. It didn't wait to reform it. It turned, its movements now clumsy and panicked, and phased back through the wall, a shimmering retreat into the night. It fled back to its silent ship, leaving behind a scene of chaos, overturned furniture, scattered books, and a single deep scratch on the hardwood floor. In the quiet that followed, a small furry hero padded over to the sofa. Milo nudged his head against Lily's hand, which was trembling. She peeked out from behind the cushions, her eyes wet with tears. "Milo," she sobbed, wrapping her arms around his neck. "You saved me." Milo just purred, a rumbling, contented sound that filled the messy room. He licked her chin, his duty done. When Lily's parents rushed in, alerted by the crash and her scream, they found a strange scene. The room was a wreck, and their daughter was clinging to the family cat as if he were a superhero. She tried to explain about the tall, scary monster, but her parents just saw a toppled bookshelf and an overactive imagination. They comforted her, tidied up, and chalked it up to a nightmare brought on by too many monster drawings before bed. But as her father picked up a fallen lamp, he noticed Milo sitting by the glass door, staring out into the night. The little cat's gaze wasn't lazy or sleepy. It was watchful, vigilant. For the rest of his long, comfortable life, Milo was more than just a pet. He was the guardian of the house, the silent protector who had once faced down a monster from the stars and won. And sometimes late at night, Lily would swear she could see a faint, proud glint in her cat's green eyes, a silent promise that as long as he was there, no monster from this world or any other would ever harm her. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content. See you next time.